Pardon gong gong balang go sa te chi do da ga ta tam chu sam kan ke chö gen sin nyam so la jo nyam de 더 삼바 삼천 조도 기바 더 친구리 대단한 취신 컴퓨터 된 거는 센서
Good morning, all my Dharma friends. Please generate your motivation for being here with the thought that all beings throughout space must be brought to the achievement of perfect and permanent happiness, the state of the primordial Buddha, and that it is in order to bring that about that you will listen to the profound and holy Dharma.
Terchen Barway Dorje, Auspiciousness, Kataranga Paso, some Tashi, Jake, Yore, the Samapana calling as my Hokayori. Then the Trenting on it, and Babadojic, Songonani, my Hokori, Songonani, and it, and lot of Jerry, then the Titoni, my Hokayori. Then it is about Sama, get the rich and Topgyal, Sintona, Yaboyori, the Kares in a lot of Saya, the Pek Chimbori, Kares in a Naso, Samak, Lamsana, and Yamisia, the excited of Chakandor. Dalam Yamisi took a humid in Hamo, Kati took a Yutami. Lamsana Yamisi Gona, Tonda Jingma to Yomar. Tonda Jig, Titonda Jig Hapona, Sanga Yamisaya de la Gablet Zavaninium, less loud the Sanji, Francis Sanji the Dot. That the Jig Caresina, Lama the Debata Tanga, so there. So Lama, Ningon Rupeteni. Only trying to loot and solar papian, Zabala market. Chesonka, Yansong called Zabala, another you, some miracle gong yes at a yuna, or Sangak Yamnesia, Chi Nero, Tata Rang, Nito Jigla, Central to the Sanjay say the Zobomia Chan, Central to Court, send the Digi, the Court, Tartobi Digi, such a yom of the Dewa and their court. Did Dewa? You get to call it. These are the ones who go to the top. The Sangha Yanisaya de la day. Then it Chinabatami Katsisa, Senana, Lama, who some American the body to kick Yalam Sangha Yanis and Katsi, you meet it. Mark meet it. Then Aranke business married. That's not all my business. The Charans of the they can't to my Hokayan, Naranga Zewa Tony, Narang can't to my Hokayan, Naranga Lama, so Zig, then Naranga my Hokayan, Chinabatam Digitan, Ila Pin Hokari, you, then Pin Tona, the Rita Matona, Narang Samada, Nora Cho.
The teachings of Terchen Barway Dorje can be divided into three categories. His Tama, or treasures, his compositions, and his teachings arisen from pure visions. We are concerned here with his collected songs, which are included in the category of pure visionary teachings. Within the collected songs, we've reached the point where the songs present a series of guruyoga or Gurusadhana practices. And guruyoga is perhaps the most important of all the practices that we might do. People are in general very excited about practicing Vajrayana. However, the question remains whether or not we will really practice. But the essential point of the Vajrayana practice, should we do it, is a Guruyoga. What makes the Vajrayana or secret mantra teachings so effective, what makes it possible and even easy to recognize one's own mind to be Buddha through these teachings, is faith in our root guru. Simply the thought, I have a guru, I have a root guru, seems to be the most important factor in our spiritual development in the Vajrayana. And that confidence, that certainty, makes the path go very, very quickly. Through this practice, we can achieve a state of freedom of mind, a state of true happiness. It's not so much a physical state as it is a mental state, but it depends primarily upon our faith and our confidence, the sense, I know who my guru is, I have a guru. Now, how much you practice is not my business. I'm not inquiring, and I'm not going to bother you about that. In any case, whether you practice or not, I will continue to explain these practices of Guru Yoga, praying one-pointedly to my Guru, and with the hope that this is beneficial and useful to you. If it is, that's wonderful, and if it's not because it's not my intention to help you.
Guru say the kitchen boy and Badanga, only Yamyo Tata Ram left Tata Tata D cups on the left. Guru say at Sachin. When you Nara Ami, Savana Garden Check, Chip, the Nara Ami. Kunzang Palchen Mambo Hino, they are some Tepa supporting a Yetokumir, Chon. Lama Hen the Pep Sadi Jesus, Tatan Habi, Yenga, on Sanjing, Yambaring, Sanje, the Nyamros in the song rate, and Naramarex, Japatek, Hot Jobson, Sound of Godre, Sonan the Tata, Naranga, Hot Lebaki, Naran Kamana, do it Gods and Naran Makok. Ngarang sensitive. Sometimes Ngarang ha ye tam ha gomo or ligaps. Lama sorande, Lama the Yimo the Chat Chinese on the Jerem Gona, Zoran the Zovachimo, Karenya Messina, Gabit Savani in Mevarak Sena, Tenrike Yon token. Namdo Yig Pariki Chinese on the Hilitan Mihil Chat, not Tommy, no Mokona Divan. Yan Lama sorande, Lama Yimo the Chat Chinese on the 할레바이 니마 코란 저쪽 코란 가능성 데 하모든 직대가 나왔다면 그 지금 직대는 저바 자원이 메와 차 원에 차 참사도 님은 생겼던 저거 가장경아 고마开게다 나 달로 대선 참사도 나 대사래 셈나 니 대의 대사래 거리게 용가도 망부형 아니라 갑대 용가 고마 제는 아니라 갑대 효기에서 본인 니 뭐고는도 아예 다니 막고는 여보서 말이서 거는도 차승이도 검자네 냠네 세례에 대사래 피나 효기 못 배마서 야 나랑 트럭도 나랑 라마도 서로제게 따들 대를 하세게 나랑 강호 말이 라마도 투이시는 대를 하세 강호 말이 공아랑 니 막고는 가는 막고는 되는 막고 니 고마고 말은 좀세 감 나 토미는 타마 다다 받은 나 니리 그가 접힌 통. 나 처리 처와가 핀 통. 그 현나 해서 하려야 감. 그 통보지야를 될까 짜고야 감. 담비추 야보는 염내세는 나랑 그면서 대린도 라마나 대바야 보진데 야 저저데 라마도 소하라 다 토인들시 와이야나 라마도 토이시니 토이시 살래 차다 그런 센 대화를 줌 더버리 유르지에서 같은 텔레티는 간드리스 하마서 고마서 효기 지중가와 나는 알람 지중가와 된 카타고리 지중 코는 떨어져는 나는 저에 대대도 거 텔레 대니 발라되는 그센 코랑 그 대화 살와다 동와고 대설도 그 가래저거들 대 센 코랑 대지도 라마 이미 공어 팅하는 냐버 야야될 karcha tikni ma do ngaran chora karcha tikni ma do ta gonda hoki chizung awari so karcha tikni ma do ma chona ke ma de ngara ke nyam nyo ring share de zo ya de chu ngom chu ya ma ri charan so de sa re pi to na sang na so chu ro yin ba chan ji de ma zo yin da sang go ya ring ye ka ma charan so nga da sam no ni ba cha ko de tin ko ma ri nga so chu ro ri nga so ro ba yo ring ko ma so di chen bo ri sa le pe ma na ge ri 대등의 셔츠 속에 라마의 들도 칸동 소리 값을 칸동 고장도 라마의 샘게 코리안도 된 포차들 같이 기름도 저는 섬도 대추 코나 가능성이 하모데 사자도 된자 코나 된게 오건도 남도 인가 바르게 찬 힐이 되면 힐소 그도 라마 세야 될 오네 할레바 산제 세야 될 라마 로스 겨바 메와르게 오네 단에 그거 상한 냠니 또 기게 될 그 이치를 여러 명 말만 생기게 하고 또 니힐을 거는 대로 처럼서 요리 상그 요마 상그 요마도 요마리 상그미 나리 처럼서 하그리 상그 뭐다 나다가 말이 나 뭐네 전에 정보기는 나마야 촌에 말이 뭐도 보를 뭐야 보를 말이 해나 나라는 뽑아 가르치는 냠니 영어세 거든 뭐네 세거 든 남양양 호절 나고 뭐 뭐도 보를 카야고 말이 mất cho tôi rồi ngã ra vào mồ mà đi cho nên rồi chơi sang là ở mấy cái dòng bò này sao đi mất dòng bò mà đi ngon này tràn này lắm mà đi chỉ để chú ý chỉ là có những ngon này dòng bò ngã ra này chỉ ngã là để là chỉ thế nên cho nên rồi từ cái số là thốt tin nhầm này chỉ là sang hàng nhầm này sẽ là hal để bắt cái sinh hoạt sinh cái chim bò thế nên bảo vệ được chú có rồi sắp sinh cái hal để bắt chim bò ngã ra cái ngon này tràn này ngã là confidence.
Recently, I've begun to experience the power and blessing of certainty in one's guru in a new way, in a way that I had not experienced it before. As many of you know, my principal and kindest root guru was my grandfather, Gyamtso. And when I was around him during his life, I suppose because he was also my grandfather and because I knew him so well, I suppose I somewhat took him for granted. But since he passed away, I've come to understand that this person whom I took somewhat for granted was actually a Buddha. That this person whom I was used to being around, with whom I was so familiar, was actually a Buddha. Sometimes I find now that when I don't understand something, for example, something I'm reading, then if I pray one-pointedly to him, immediately I understand it without difficulty. When I'm practicing, whether I'm practicing visualization or meditation or dzogchen, whatever I'm practicing, if I feel in any way lost or lacking, as soon as I pray to him, I gain clarity. When I feel that I'm lost in obscurity or darkness, as soon as I pray to him, one-pointedly, the darkness dissipates as though it was never there to begin with. Recently, I spent a few days in retreat, and while I was there, one night I felt that I was having trouble going to sleep. And I began to worry about this. I began to think, well, it's not good. Not being able to sleep, that's not good. That's bad for your health. It's bad for your mind. That's a problem. And I tried to meditate, thinking that that would help me relax. And it sort of helped, but not really. And then I thought, well, wait a second. I am completely deluded in my approach to this. Who cares? If I mix my mind with my guru's mind, then whether I sleep or not becomes irrelevant. I've slept a great deal throughout my life, and it hasn't really given me much. The worst thing that can happen if I don't fall asleep tonight is I suppose I might drop dead, and if I drop dead, okay, fine, that's not a problem. So I just relaxed and mixed my mind with his. And I instantly began to feel this tremendous experience of well-being, overpowering well-being and lucidity and freedom from thought. And it seems that about 1 minute passed, and then my alarm went off at 5 in the morning, and I was still sitting up. In my experience, only about a minute had passed, and I woke up in that same experience of well-being and lucidity and non-conceptuality with which the night had begun. Now, I'm not telling you these things in order to brag or to impress you. I'm sharing them with you because you're my Dharma friends, whom I trust, so that you understand how powerful, how beneficial devotion and mixing your mind with the Guru is. Whatever we practice, for example, when I'm doing my daily recitations, as soon as I mix my mind with my Guru, everything is clarified. I've gained certainty that I lacked previously, that there is no Buddha other than the Guru. Now, I'm not saying these things, as I said, to brag. I'm not claiming to be in any way a better person than any of you. I'm not even saying that I have more understanding of this point than any of you. The fact is, I'm not a good person. I think I'm an awful person. But I have one thing, and that one thing I have is a certainty in my Guru, and certainty in the teachings of Terchen Barway Dorje. And so it's based on that certainty that I share my experience with you.
All that's the Teranga to G. Chepargino, Karesina, Masota, Kajupa, Malaya Seri, and Malaya Setso, Deri, Mapalota, Karin Chimbori, Maso, Teta Kajuchupomari, Sama Yunzola, Mapalota, Karin Chimbori, Galopatan, Sajabatan, so Yunzola, Karin Chimbori, Jutani, Ju, Hibargo, Marbaloza, Ju de Taco. La coma domer kanton kommer att säga om Mari den du kom malada marbani kake ta nong ju zo bo ko yeng la ko re ka da yan tu ji che ba ji den thot wo re den san ka za den so den du ka sa ka la ta nga zo pa yin ra ne re kyu den ro zo den gor son so ya da de ko ha de ba che ge tu ji che ba ji za ho de re 대다 때는 산지 결정도 방아서 다가 동반람리 예바 결정하고 총조를 지나 더든도 대인도 당아서 대신 처벌진 더도 대인도 배하려버리 대신 말로 도지 공자이나 접점 Milarepa 거 조금 말이 되어들이 접점 Milarepa 때는 피는 저벌진 이거 불가인 성고들이 대인도 던져와 침보리 대인도 다서 템브레 침보도 잡거리 같이 산지게 대신 처벌 때라 Then go to teach Cheparchina, Lama Tamji teach Cheparchi, the Tom, members of Wasangi, Batanyang, and the teaching lots of the Tomna, then not so the Nuba Chepat Papa, Gessin, Yamnesia, Temdre, Chutangi, Temdrella, Temdre Cheparchi, worry, that was a Sangako, Cheparchi, Haleba, Zakari Sang. Chesota Sangan, Logan Se, called that then the Sanghabala Pay, Sachin Mutsu. Then the temporary Chepargino, they are not in Aroji, then in Akama, the unique again.
Today is a very special or sacred day. From our point of view as followers of the Kagyu tradition, today is the anniversary of the parinirvana of Lord Marpa, as yesterday was the anniversary of the parinirvana of Jetsun Milarepa. And Marpa's kindness, and therefore that of Milarepa, cannot be, to Tibetan Buddhism in general, cannot be overestimated. Of course, it need not be said that the various Kagyu traditions all stem from him, but also the tantras practiced by other traditions, such as, for example, the Gelug tradition, also come in main part from Lord Marpa. So Marpa's parinirvana is very important, as is Jetsun Milarepa's, which is an occasion for people to exhibit their prowess in the practice of Chandali by running around and dancing, wearing cotton garments and singing the songs of Milarepa. Also, today is the among the 4 great Buddhist sacred days is the anniversary of the Buddha's display of miracles. That is to say, the full moon day that was the culmination of 2 weeks of miracle displays by the Buddha. So for us, this day is very important. For one thing, not only are we Buddhists and followers of Lords Marpa and Milarepa, but Terchen Barway Dorje was also recognized as the rebirth of Jetsun Milarepa, who was himself the rebirth of both Manjushri Mitra and Nupchen Sanjay Yeshe. So on this day, our minds are blessed and empowered. Especially from the Vajrayana point of view, we pay a great deal of attention to interdependence. And so therefore we should take full advantage of the blessings and power of this day. And so now I'll continue with the text.
Tene tere ta la drab nyong salab da tsatram yo so si ta nga so tane tene hi ko de ta di la drab da dan jero nga so ta ta level son de level nga so ke son ko ra son de level nga na gan go dan yo te gan go ne la drab de da tin je ba ta yo ne wa yi ni sa ko de ta de ya la ge da pa tre ya din na pa tre ya de te dan jero chim ba do nga so Zokin Kasu Tata Son the Lemma Song the Poro, Tajanda, Cheso Zokin Yami Sinki Tamjin Don Tunkin and Don Kojari, Tatanian and Kaniko Yobatamjik, the Solan Jeva and Yapondo, or Deri, that's Salap, London Nungo, Salap the Tremo Yoso, say at the time, mainly. The common Goroa, Karen, the main the God, main the Tabamans in Kit and the Momba Service and Gomba made the Tabam, so Managiri, that Salap doesn't transform say the Yungo say the Yungyong, God, Yungyong, Shantanay, a lot of Dupa Yungyong, to get the General Yamni Sitana, Lada Jet Cherry by your own Baradojela. Then Chama don't go marry. Chama, he, the Chama don't go the Sunny Charazo send the borders or that then Nora, it is Sarbo he go. Chatan he didn't get Chata de Lo, Nimara and don't go the Sunny, Joaka, and also don't go revenge as he can do. Then don't know the channels of business, not business money. The latter Jebi Jerpa, Karen don't carry on the social Dangari. That they were choose and the day, Chu Yonzo the law. Or some of doesn't turn say that does a good term of salad that does a then also Nyomo Tonga talk some, also Mambo, and also Judah. Did you take a color John Yorvata? They part. Sama Zoji Sinawote, Dutton Seriate, Daily Pan Yomzik. Then the Trapon Seriate, Del Corner, Chocolate, of the Trapon Seriate, ngaso nyo momba ka chadong na mema mar yo na yi na ngaso da dio de da de da ro ra pa to ba ri cha ba to ba ngaso ke thong tu ba ma ri ra pa to ba da sam ta na ngaso pe dewa yo san de dewa yo ma ri dong han ma to yo ma ri ni ma re ja da ngaso smile se ko den zamri tong ko de ne ka zamri chmo ra ri te da de ka cha che ke na lo dong han le cha de sen 다 대가서 파살고로 맞아 지나서 추 가리스는 듣고 유산 나 저와 파자고 추 가리스는 듣고 유 지나서 추 듣다 람상한 영이세요 가리스는 듣고 유 못받대 저 저거야 김치 가래를 해서 나서 저거도는 세사가와 나 저거도는 세사가 내 세사야 내가 저거도는 사그리서 미여 되로 다 지나서 추 저야 돼 미여 가래 자동 대게 따와 저와리 자체에 대 that's true 세야 돼 true 세야 돼 나서 真세야 되게 나서 루다 시드루 랩토 거기 차스 니마페 차와 효침보를 내는 나서 가게 침보를 차와 농반다이나 아프리카다 나카의真차이나真的 시드루 랩토 니마의 소재에 대한 야고 해거의 소재에 대한 세파 감성 거로 메마마티 차동나이라 잔에 히 효과들 then jumba de que tenga solo sidru le ko sidru de karesenga so send de jiri le ko then these are the la de lama joko de so that they get pincent over that they he or the da salab de zhong hong是正就碰过来 salab 正就碰过来这是that they made the la that there was but the beauty jamna that they can recall
We now come to the we're on page 235. So we come to the guruyoga that's called Clouds of Blessing-Amrita, a brief Gurusadhana. Now, those of you who are familiar with the liturgical arrangement of the 5 chapters, the supplications to Guru Rinpoche from the Treasury, will recognize that the liturgical template that we use to practice those, the basic visualization, is this one. This is the Guru Yoga into which those 5 chapters are placed in the context of which they're practiced. The first thing that you'll notice about this Gurusadhana or Guru practice is that it's very brief. And you can notice that in 2 ways. The first way is that it's only 2 pages, and the second way is it tells you, it says a brief Gurusadhana. This is of significance because you complain a lot about how much chanting it's suggested that you do. You come to me and you say, you tell us to chant all this stuff and you give us all this stuff. It would take us all day to chant that. Why do you afflict us with this? What have we done to deserve this? It's totally up to you what you chant. When you're given liturgies, they are not sentences imposed by a court that you have to do every day. It's up to you. If you don't want to chant something, don't chant it, but don't complain about it. So perhaps it's an answer to something like that Terchen Barway Dorje composed this brief Gurusadhana. Now, why is it called Clouds of Blessing-Amrita? Well, first of all, we give things names so that we can tell one from another. But Amrita here has the connotation of medicinal nectar. So the idea is that we need medicine. We take Dharma as medicine. And what is the sickness that we are trying to relieve with this medicine? It is the 5 poisons. We are filled with the 5 poisons. And so we take the medicine of Dharma, in this case, Amrita, in order to alleviate them. And then we have the notion of clouds of blessing. Now this may surprise you because normally we use clouds as an analogy for veils or obscurations, and we think of the sun we use the sun as an analogy for wisdom and clarity and so on. And here the analogies are different. Here, the sun is seen as a source of affliction, the affliction of great heat, as though you were in a very hot place, such as a place like the hottest part of Africa or South Asia, and were being burnt by the sun. In that case, clouds would be quite welcome. They would give you relief. Even more so if they rain down an Amrita that healed you. So the notion of this guruyoga, as identified by its name, is that it relieves both the suffering or affliction and the causes of that suffering, which are the kleshas. The Amrita relieves the causes, and the clouds relieve the suffering. We need to always remember why we are practicing the Dharma, if we are practicing Dharma. And I frequently pose this question to you as groups and individually. Why are you practicing Dharma? You may smile, but your smile often hides a great anguish and discontentment. So, why are you practicing? We only do something when we want the effect. For example, we only eat when we're hungry. So why are you practicing Dharma? You're practicing Dharma because you seek relief from suffering and the cause of suffering. So that is an explanation of the name of the Guru Yoga.
Oh, Yorong Jisam, then Sakijan Choko, the Rita, Yorong Jisam, the Jora de la Jambo Simji in the Rita, the Tambo de la Jambo Simji Shina, Namo, Kosam Lama Ning Jobson Chase at the Jamdori, Rona Dorsa Sancho Simju, Ki say at the Simji. Then the Namo said that I'm so gentleman the Geteri, Samsagori, Samsasa Saris, and a Lama Samsagori, Lama the Carrera Kiko, this and Dick also, Cosum the Dani, Lama Kiko. Tanga so Chuko, Longo, Turko, the Tarimori, the son of Tango, the Matama, the Tarimbo, Chuko, the Mongodo, or Yerama, the Tarimbo, the Yapasan. Daily number. Report Charlie Duncan Charlie Long Juzo Kazodira, Yan Ram, the G Chalo Kondamare, the son of Tankodri. Yan Daily Charlie, on your mother Sergian, the Turbo Kazodri, Simjig Ponzi in Kerala, the Zokonika Simjig Ponzi Korwa. I can use some Niragazo. Consumption harmony, the son of Tankodri. Tondam harmony, the Rikamari. Cosumji Dani Zabalama. Zabalama Rangatama. Zabalama the Rangasem Yemiri, Rangasem Churchanko. Tell a Yermaki on Dino. One in Dino Correda. Karaza Gom Yako Chon Yako Samari, son of the Luki King of Savanini to generate or Mother in Trapon in the Kono. Nepa, Tangarange, Cherazola, Chazogolero. Semrega sin some of the 캐나서 공대 다른 폰이 람토리 야버리고 금도 산거든요. 캐나서 오늘 잡잡 사리 잡잡 be careful 사리 meditation. 잡잡 사리 다른 캐나서 공대 람토도 폭 교토는도 옛날 내 교토 말이 가래서 당하면 정보를 뭐 교토 말이 땡에 I do my best today. then कसम सया द चावल लामा किलो 참고들이 라마 거든 그 저거 손대는 놈 주저고 토대는 죽어요 뭐 कसम 게 다니 라마 단디 잡선 로다데 슬람 사하가 같이 잡선 로다는 거들이 다 특과 총원이 특과 첨보도 잡선 로다로 특과 총원이 거라 라다 니도랑자니 소소 제야 세파 감성 거와네 파트들에게 잡선 로다로 오리 다다니 마셔가 봐다 다 저거 때때 특과 첨보다 상마제지 봐도서 잡선 로다로 오리 네가서 태가도 상하게 잡선 로데 태가도 거라 태가도 거라 레파 짱 거들이 레파 종 거들이 고 종고야 돼 디나나 디캉바 디나나 그 말은 저도는 태가도 종로 거들마도 얘네 거라자 요네 거라자 풀리소게 세컨도 맨다 그 기콩 리노다 들으세고만 태가도 정도 태가도 그만 종로 거들이 디나이리 대도 그선 라만 힘이 잡수치 selama다 된다고 그선 근데 좀 잡을라마 지를 잡수치教研上教着教谁的这个弄得教过的，对的。若那个是上教sem就几岁呀？这个当然说上教个sem几个了，上节工上教个sem几个。他当然讲的学吧那些，个人现在教人是去做不什么，没有的 purpose， 没有的那做上节要的上广告了吧？对教人上他人过的结果是他同样的结果，立定人的结果是立定医生的结果是，让你这就让着运动呢。장미섬의 초사는 제거서 대체로서 라리도 다다 란들 니는 요리 맞서 서혀오는 거 대는 맞서 라라 요리 들으서는 당거다 상계도 상초도 샘기고 상초도 샘기는 뭐도 상계고 상초도 샘기고 론 프로세스 네 세파 감송 콜와게 샘기 다다다 자니 발마섬이 용조데 코랑 오늘 전에 답이 이지도 썼는데 심진 다다 담이 뇽뭐 동안 달래 네 루틴 데이터 말한 거 맞지 데이터는 심지 마음고 사지게 상에 자료다니 디치 등의 특과 진보다 상하다 냠서리는 상처교도 토끼게 산에 심지 로덕 첨부 한 레바히고 로덕 첨부 뽑아 첨부 드르키게 토니 되니 삼노단도네 상처교도 심지고도 대인주 되게 Gyamtso 생기니리.
나는 못 되거래. 나 제가 때서 손으로 때려서.
나도 그게
더 근데 영화 정창이.
그래.
영화 정창. 지금 영화로. 감동도. 뭐는 안 sab이. 저라야 감동도. The text, the liturgy is organized in the usual format of preparation, a main body, and conclusion. The preparation consisting of the taking refuge and generating bodhicitta, the main body being the practice, and the conclusion being the dedication, and so forth. The refuge and bodhicitta here occupy two lines, first beginning with the Sanskrit word namo, or homage, prostrations. And to whom are you paying homage here? You're paying homage to your root guru, who is the object of meditation here. And then you take refuge by saying, I take refuge in the Trikaya Gurus from my heart. Now, when we think of the Trikaya, we tend to think of it as something that is rather distant from us. For example, we think of the Dharmakaya as Samantabhadra, whom we imagine to be some kind of naked, blue, cosmic, timeless Buddha. And then we think of the Sambhogakaya as a vast variety of figures wearing all sorts of robes and jewelry. And then we imagine the Nirmanakaya as rays of light issuing from the Sambhogakaya, which themselves issue from the Dharmakaya. And there's nothing wrong with that, because in relative truth, of course, that is one way to think of the Trikaya. But from the point of view of absolute truth, the Trikaya is actually our Guru. The Trikaya is that actually benefits us, that actually transmits its wisdom to us, is not something distant. It is the Guru. And it is finally to the Guru that we must take refuge. And so we take refuge in the Trikaya Gurus, really means your root Guru, who embodies all the Gurus of the Trikaya. And you take refuge in them from your heart. Now, at this point, Lama said, if I may say so, you still don't get it. You're still, he said, when I mix my mind with yours and see what's going on, you still don't understand, even on a basic level, of what meditation is. You're still trying to rigidly force something. And that type of rigid force is samsara. It's not liberation. So frankly, you haven't yet set foot on the path of meditation. You haven't really begun. Now, I can't pick you up and set you on the path myself. I do my best, but I can't do that. Anyway, to return to the text, this refuge vow is a Vajrayana refuge vow. When we take refuge for the duration of this life, that is the refuge vow of the common vehicle, and when we take refuge until perfect Buddhahood for the benefit of others, that is the refuge vow of the Mahayana. In addition, when we take refuge until Buddhahood for the benefit of others, specifically to the root Guru as the embodiment of all sources of refuge, that is the ultimate refuge vow of the Vajrayana. What's the difference? Even in the Mahayana refuge vow, we're kind of taking an indirect approach. For example, if there were a thief or a robber in this room, one thing that we could do is we could call the police, and then they would come and they would look around. They'd look in each corner of the room and work their way from the outside in until finally they found the person, and then they would take them away. The Vajrayana approach would be to walk in and immediately spot the problem, immediately spot the thief, what steals our own awakening from us. And so when we take refuge in the root Guru as the embodiment of all sources of refuge, that is very, very direct. It's very personal. As the text says, it's from my heart. And that makes it much more powerful. Somehow, if we don't take refuge in the root Guru, if we take refuge in sources of refuge that seem distant from us, it is still an indirect approach. Next is the generation of the bodhicitta. And you say, I generate supreme bodhicitta in order to liberate beings. Supreme bodhicitta means the intention to achieve supreme awakening. One could have the intention to achieve the awakening of a Shravaka or of a Pratyeka Buddha. But supreme bodhicitta is the citta or intention or mindset of wishing to achieve supreme bodhi or supreme awakening. And you can't do that for your own good alone. So you seek to achieve it in order to liberate other beings. Now, why is it so important that we constantly reaffirm our motivation of bodhicitta? It's because we have to remember our purpose. Why are we practicing Dharma? Why are we doing this? We're doing it for only one reason. We seek to achieve Buddhahood for the well-being of others. And then we have to ask ourselves, do I want to achieve Buddhahood? Am I actually seeking Buddhahood? Am I doing what I need to do in order to achieve Buddhahood? Am I trying to achieve it as quickly as possible? Am I in a hurry? Am I trying to achieve it in this life? Or am I content to achieve it sometime later, maybe next time or a few times after that? We have to be very precise and rigorous in asking ourselves these questions.
특별 침보스 다다 산접 선바탐지 삽교는 산접 선바탐지 파과리 삽교는 자리마서 다른 람의 형디오들이 사담보 가와가와 조조와 주마카하오마 도서장으로 걸 삽교는 산접 선바탐지가 심진 가리마도 심지 차장의 로바조도 에나 트라이즈호 데르 비드베스트즈호 데조도 감숨 원의 생기 용조의 피르다고 상기요. 대등가서 상계야 때 삼노 대동고 삼노 대동. 대등가서 상한냠니세야 때 맞서 여는 거는 고문도 태가도 루틴 체크가 있니 라비나 딘토 제니 상기에 건도 삼니게 다 뽑으는 뒷보바도 되는 가서 상한냠니세 거. Topgyal 얼마도 대마즈는 상하게 결혼서 Topgyal 망보즈는 녀바 차크리도 저런 강가히 그 말이잖아. 내가 판 녀바서 저런 상하 냠니소건 제제도 삼노 당도 제제도 르디제도 니니 Milarepa 이 삼노 당도 어떻다. 이게는 때 잘고 피가 말인 이게는 다때 hincha 샤 체리. 저런 배 hincha 첨부. 나서 파일데 이게는 콜와도 힘바 첨부리데 나는 Didn't know what the lemony, one and confusing the child. Pay child is confusing. Don't call about the Hinta chamber. Don't look say about the Hinta chamber. Didn't want to carry in the sound of Godere. Mongyamia, Semyamia, Sem Gangyamia, Gadu in the Madeva and order. There were it's in the Kokataya Rajamidre. Ayo, the drug cable cover something. Nara ha land or get take up together here. Jarazo Buddhist center and the Kanason and Dari Kunzang Palchen and Yeda and Jarazo Monet on simply Lupovi. Chu Yang about the Kareli the Tane, Drum the Yapo. But business and drawing money. Not business again, Gerard, me, Sazela, not a kind of government. Charazo Mugavin, or Lama de Narange, Propozo, Naranga Halepa, Chandanage, Niozo, call a gormority, call a check jurity, check Naha Levak Niozo. Two Navazo Marina. Nala Pecha Tina, Martina, Nete, Tambo, Tanjaganaranga, Senanico, Sewa Yomakeja, here called Chanaso. Dinagi, Yamizuna, Lama Yanta Balati, Gaviki Yanta Balati. Be Haleba, Gaviki Yanta, Lama Yanta Balani. Lama Zuma Mambo, the Tambohin, Mambo. Mamma, or the Tata the Yudan. Tata to me, Tanjiko, or the Nimama Doa, you name it, Pacha Nien. Then the Lama Yabo need to. Teachers need it, Charas Hakori, Charas Tongori. Jitina Tombo, Saditi Samotan Higero, Lama Yabo Renit. Lama Ludik, Lama Topgyal, Lama Zal Mano, Roni Mari. Lama Yabo Renit. Then you chew Yabo Reto. One Tanik Mamba, big country. Jordan Zambalan tell a Pintona Yabo and Demena, Loma Dang it, I'm mature, send the digit to be looking it, Lekarazo of some business result. Then Yabo. They know about that much of the Jilat Sata Lega Chetan, Mamma about the Pekade Chino. Dealing a Pinsericus Lega is all something. Saji Shaka about the psychology doing also the same hundred parts of the same Marie Lebager called Sen Nasaka called that they aren't about the Saji Shaka about it, some Diana. Coke Chu Kariki Yadana, Coke knowledge Karedana, Dela Yamnechila, Chora send Nasalachi Jagam. Be Kibo Chakan. Then to Jado Chu, young Tabaran and Rota, to one day, Reva Cheki, then it did.
The motivation which causes us to seek Buddhahood is fundamentally that it is the only way to be of the utmost help to beings. Without achieving Buddhahood, the amount of help we can bring to beings is actually quite limited. Shravaka and Pratyeka Arhats have achieved liberation from samsara, but they have not achieved yet perfect Buddhahood. Although they are free from samsara, they can't really help beings that much. Even bodhisattvas on any of the 10 levels or bhumis of the bodhisattva path, while from our point of view what they can do seems tremendous, actually compared to a Buddha, the amount of help they can bring beings is quite small. So they need really to achieve Buddhahood before they can effectively help beings. And of course, in comparison to bodhisattvas on the 10 bhumis, we can do almost nothing to help beings. We don't even have a trace of the understanding or realization that even the bodhisattva on the first bhumi has. And so therefore we have no real context for knowing how to help beings. So our motivation in practicing the Dharma, and especially in practicing Vajrayana, must be the desire to achieve Buddhahood in order to help others. If we have that motivation in our practice, then the practice will be effective, and we might even achieve Buddhahood in a single lifetime, as did, of course, Gyamtso Milarepa. But if we don't have that motivation, if our practice of the Vajrayana Dharma is not motivated by that altruistic bodhicitta, then the more we study, the crazier we'll get. We'll actually become literally crazy. Especially in this country, we need to overcome our extraordinary attachment to the things of samsara. I thought, Lama said, back home that we were attached to samsara, that this was a problem for us, and it is. But I had no idea how virulent, how frankly pathological the degree of attachment to samsara I have seen since coming here could be. Your attachment to samsara is so feverish that you don't have even a moment's peace. You don't even have a moment's ease or happiness because you're constantly trying to strategize, manipulate, and get something. I'm not here to do business. I'm not, and KPL isn't here for business. And yet you can't stop trying to manipulate me and this situation using money, donations, whatever means at your disposal for an instant. I'm not a fake teacher, so I can't be manipulated the way you seek to manipulate me, because I don't want the things that you offer in your efforts at manipulation. There are plenty of fake gurus out there. If you want somebody you can manipulate in some kind of transactional, spurious spiritual relationship, there are plenty. There have always been plenty, and there are even more nowadays, because of course there's a market for them. You're clever, so I'm sure you can find them if that's what you want. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help you. I'm here to try and help you by sharing Dharma with you. Frankly, that's why I'm here. But you're so busy being miserable. You're so feverishly, pathologically entrenched in samsara that it's very difficult. We really have to go back to the most basic statement and say, just remember that Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings were intended to make you better. That's why we're here. We're trying to get better, not worse. Just if you can't remember anything else, remember at least the general direction that we're trying to move in.
Awesome. Teri tanga so lama danjela tangu yeri ta jorwa singi son ngujeri kuye dela tamota lama tin danjela kala lama gongo de kunzo lama danjela kala gongo de re na se yemi dankar sinche pe manye de ten de samsa jen gongo lama ko simbe sa so na so tambar tge chitin takki dorder no hyabzon ro da kyuni yin se ze konjo sa san de ke malupa kundu dorjen changong over yo son Teri, Tati Jeva Teri, then Dungeonankala, go Karagongos, Singchata, Pemata Yedadi, Tatela, Dikats, Yoni, Yotela, Wayelin, Tatela, Waya, Jango Waya, the Tumon, the Tumi Maimba, Zorango, the Wayelin, the Nabani, he or the day. Ate frops are my Yuran Yuri, the Jajimbo Heat in our Japinto, you may make it. Kantaria, they serve the connection of the detail, Tata, Nazo, Zoramakasunagi, Singeta, Singete, go Longa Tapa, Singet song, Taylor on the Tongo, Longa Tapa, so Yonga Longa Tapa, the Singet, Nanga Zanga Tapa. Pema de Zala and Java Chimbo Zanga Tapa, Pema Di, Kama Naso the little Kama Yorwata, Zoram Kat and Java made the Kama Tapa, Nimata Davidi, Kam, so the Nima Yedi Dadi Dedi, Kamanika, Ko Chesogodero, Java Kam and Java Chimbo Yori, then the Kama Tapa Yedi, Di Total. Semi Tomba, Ransen, Lama, Yelme Bagumo, the Zabalama, the Tati Totane, Gongo, Tatel and Java, Tundrike, Tony Sanatana, Yog Zorum de la and Java Chimbo, one Yitel and Java Chimbo.
The coup gets and bellas over the level that they saw. Should treat them.
Oh, you tell them.
So the second part of the practice is the main body of it, which begins with the generation or visualization of the support, that is the guru to whom you are praying. Now, although in absolute truth, the guru is inseparable from your own mind, here you imagine the guru in the sky in front of you, according to relative truth. And it begins in the sky in front on a lion throne, lotus, sun, and moon. Here, as you'll see at the end, the receiving of empowerment is done in two ways: the common receiving of empowerment and the uncommon receiving of empowerment in connection with the completion stage. So I don't know how much good, to be honest, receiving empowerment according to the completion stage will do you. It depends on you, but because it's there, I have to explain it. So because of that, because that's present in the practice at the end, we have to begin the practice with some incorporation of the understanding of the completion stage. Well, from the point of view of the completion stage, the lion throne on which the guru is seated, which generally speaking represents fearlessness, in this case also represents the purification of prana, or wind and energy. The lotus, which is on top of that lion throne, represents the purification of the channels, of the 5 chakras through which the winds flow. And the sun and moon cushions on top of the lotus on which the Guru is sitting represent the purification of the 5 elements or constituents within the body of the Guru.
Oh, that did told the Lama to some Sanjan, Rongo Lama, Gonsimbesa, not so good bars, to some Sanjan, and them out that to some Sanjan in the Bungo. Then Rogongo was Sozo Lama, Sozo Lama, Terchen Barway Dorje, that Jezo Sama, Tamara Dorje and Java, Badar Mojil and Java Chimbori, Nambadar Moj and Java Chimbo Yen, Seba Sam Check. That's a Zanger than either say at the Pinto Yori, Tabikiva say at the Zanger Ninja, Nika Yag and the Pinto Yori, Chujan Java Yag and the Pinto Yori. Sava Lama Yen Zone, that thing, Tajukona, Taju Tokumari. Sava Lama, the one, Badon Bojin, the Charan Sola, same round Yeshe to water. One and more truth to Yuna, Sava Lama child. Kandaria Chabayo Maringa, some Barodo, Chudu, the Hal Levaka, Yami Seak, say, called the day to Zavalama and Barodo, Yelme by Yen, some to some Sanjitam Jingo, Terchen Barway Dorje, Yelme by Yen, some, it is some Diana, Salap Checkeri, the Lusano Don Rongo Lama the God de Latin, Sanjik and Cesar, Cesar Sumjazani Lasso, with all Zerbara, some Tongo, the then Timbe, Sarzo, the God Sarah. Tin the Pepsi, Young Sepa, Tin the Pepsi, Young Sepa, the or Regan the Heat Gona, and Cesar was Sumjazani, the Regan the Drand Gona, Drand Toka, Marite, Chandrosa, Marade, Kandayan to so then also don't see it to party, Gyamtso, Kanazo, Hako, Tata, or Tsinzuti, and Hakori. And it doesn't seem that Pepsi would also rub the Marwa, took a chedi, Taki Dodger down so. That took a chedi, Tabarma, chedi, cheddar, Demasi, chedi, with the Katamana, Tangoro, what you do the Nasa, the Tabarma, need to Ranja San Central by Oma, and Ataki with the Sanas, Chazogodero, the Chevity, drink of quality, and they got the Dorje Chaka, come in the Gondro. Sonkando, then the Dorje Chaka, the Dorje Chaka, long use of Kokari, then they tell a Tugu Chedin on the country Yementa Chatamadenga, Sacha, Mishi, Kandaria, Dorje Trevor, Taki Yemikum or Dorje Trevor, or go Zende Direct, the Lama go, Dorje Chaka, more Yodi Direct, that the Rishika Samatona, taken the Calderi, Pachan called the retailer. Tamamo get that road Martin and recall it so de Debatana Yapori Jet and so did then it taught and hear of Yerme was Taki Yemi say out in Azo, do you other Mebangazo, same Corona, Taki Yemi read already, they don't Yemi Taki Yemi say out there. Saricha, Tombacha, Taki Yemi read already, Dorje Turban, Taki Yemi Turban, North Upton Center, the Teddy. Then the Hazor of the Kuni is there, Hazo Jaro of the Tops, Xavier Ma, Chang Yong, come did it. That the Reverend Guru Yong and Dorjija, the River Yogi, the Chuni is there, Sayataka, now call the day, but now ye Chamari, now call the Ato, so what Chamber of Javata, Taho, now call the Tonikum over the Sonkora, then the Chuni Yin over the Chuni Yin Sayaka Tonikum over it, then the Donna Ransem over the Tomani over Chuji over the Ransem. So Sarton Semikum or Jungi the radio, the Ding under Yaparia, the Sena, Gyamtso of the Chini is there, then you control some taking Madu Pasita, and that day in Java, Japti Mandimado, control Kundijungo, Sasso Kundijungo, Cosum Kundijungo, Lama, Kipo the Sango Posity, Tanga, so Sanganya needs the Lama Kipo, the son of Tom Rudy. Then you control Kundukungo, Lamari, Lama Kogenda, the heat of Gorilla, Kogenda, Song Tamchi, Top Sanje, the control Kundukungo, Lama go Yadam Song Kandro took Chuka de Mo, Taxam Kundigo Mo, Jason, that day Chuka Longa Troka, that day Mo, Dorn of Kundi Dorje Younger, over the Zavalama, the Yin San. In door surgery and a Kundijum over Zavalama, Chudum Kundugum over Zavalama, Taxam Kundijum over Zavalama, good Dada Cosum Kundijum over Zavalama, Dorje, Yen over the Yin, some Sijik, some Taylor, Mepati Tana, Tenny Taylor, Tana for the Regan, the Tanka Tankima Hioma, Tanka Danyasria, the Mone Sahanyamila, left at the Tanka Danya, the Chimbo Sakoma. And also, two some Gomba the four window called it. To what somebody in there, so say Gomba the four window called it. Sahanyam is in the cocktail to take the son of Tandu, Taylor, Chata Gomari. Don't see it comes and that the Tanka Danya, the pay, Sachimbo Zero. 다 타라땅야 장가짜야 링람데 폼봉아 zonga 초롱아 도킹아 다주고 롱데 맨르게 드라야 베사지 못자야리 오네 왜는 생파라고 뭐도 삼는데 동이고 뭐도 저도 요마 선들이 니 요마리다 넌 진이 대박 폼봉아 다에 감격이라서 뭐 쩌거든 당원은 가서 람상하냐니 세니까 저도 요마리데 폼봉아서야 폼보다 폼보 쟁미와 다시 도마 폼부 신이야 막 타르잖아 제가 지고 어디래 도마 뽕도서 폼보 당보 도마 뽕도서 코랑 매와 차려요 이미 잡으려고 뭐 근데 다 도마 뽕도서 저 폼봉아 지리 저런 철도 마도 가야 요마 좀 철도 근데 지로 옆에 저런 샤는 사제 바도니 지로 약간 로드로 된대다 참 거리 대마도 요마 예 강요 말이 그 대인데 탐진 드분 거고 싸울라마디 인 제기도 소라 데라 근데 뭐 도르지냐 거 인, 요요 산네 다 된던지 나가데 싸고 담보지는 싸고 gond데 싸고 레코 제기도 산노 돈데 제름도 gond데 제름데 오늘 전에 그 핀도 쳐보려 거데 철게 거 말고 나서 다들 철도 거를 나서 나도 철도 철로 박차데 요네 먹게 박차 촉 쳐보 까차 리나도 좀 요로 거로 제름 제가 삼노동 사가도 삼노동선은 먹게 박차데 요죠 거만 참기차 저요 거는 특유의 개발 먹게 박차데 자원이는 요죠 거만 대 제름은 핀도 침보리 lum하게 접어져야 제름은 르지 접어져야 제름들 핀도 침보리 디나는 라마고 공부도 핀도 침보리 라금 건트라 공부 라마께 공부 가 송으로 인접 사야 돼 봐. 라마 손데 탱징을 가 송으로 된 드리시 삼으로 또 되게 내가 거들이 당하라 레마 파론 접촉 레마 접촉
There comes up Dorje Chong, the Mowazawa Lama Yimbala Napa Dorje Chong, Kuno Momo Gonga
Jela
Lost.
Tiara
Now the body of the Guru himself, who is seated on that throne, is essentially the embodiment in the form of that image in the sky before you of the attributes of your mind's nature, here identified with the Guru. So in this case, it says, is the Buddha of the three times, being's protector, my Guru? The figure is in essence your root Guru in the form of Vajradhara. It says his marks and signs are distinct and perfect. This refers to the 32 marks and 80 signs of perfect Buddhahood that distinguish the Supreme Nirmanakaya, like Buddha Shakyamuni, and also the Sambhogakaya, like this visualized image of the Guru as Vajradhara. And if you want to know what the 32 marks and 80 signs are, you can find lists of them online in dictionaries and so forth. He blazes with multicolored light because he embodies that perfect nature, he is the source of all various wisdoms, here exhibited as multicolored light. He wears the attire of the 9 vehicles. Now, usually, when we say the attire of the 9 vehicles, we refer to what Guru Rinpoche is wearing. We correlate Guru Rinpoche's robes, crown, and so forth with the vehicles, the Shavakayana, Pratyeka Buddhayana, Mahayana, Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, Mahayoga, Anuyoga, and Adha Yoga. In this case, the apparel is the Samokakaya apparel that is normally worn by Vajradhara, but its meaning here is correlated with the 9 vehicles. He holds a Vajra and bell, means and knowledge, with crossed hands. Now, this represents the fact that the Guru has recognized the true nature of things. That is to say that your mind already, Lama said, is the unity of means and knowledge, is in its nature the unity of bliss and emptiness. The Guru demonstrates this through holding a crossed Vajra and bell because he has fully realized this. His 2 legs are in the seated position of play. Here, he is seated not with his legs fully crossed in Vajra posture, but with his legs loosely crossed in what's called the posture of royal ease or of play, which is the way, for example, Guru Rinpoche is depicted in the many of the practices connected with him that we do. He gazes into the expanse of Dharmata, and this means that he is looking upward into the reaches of space. The expanse of Dharmata refers to emptiness, and here his gazing into space represents the fact that he has full recognition of the nature of things, which is emptiness. And he abides as Vajradhara, the personification of the 3 jewels and roots, and of all sugatas without exception. This is very significant because in Dharma in general, we have lots and lots of categories and lots of lists. For example, in the teachings of the causal vehicle, where the approach is strongly analytic, we break things down into components, break those down into smaller bits, and so on. So, for example, Lama said, we commonly think of what we falsely imagine to be a person or personal self as the 5 aggregates. And then we'll say, well, the 5 aggregates are this, and they include this, and so on. And we have lots and lots of lists. But while it's valid in a certain context to break down the person or the personality into the 5 aggregates, since none of these 5 aggregates truly exist, at some point we have to ask the question, why do we need to count them at all? All such categories are temporarily useful, but ultimately there are no truly existent bits of things that need to be counted. So therefore, in Vajrayana, in the teachings of secret mantra, we're much less concerned, Lama said, with lists of things and numbers and what counts, what is included in what category. So although even within the Vajrayana we'll say that our sources of refuge are the 3 jewels and the 3 roots, which gives us a list of 6, actually that list of 6 is really just one. It's just the word Guru. Because the Guru's body is the Sangha, because it is your Guru who embodies the Sangha for you. Your guru's speech is the Dhamma. Where else are you getting Dhamma? It comes directly or indirectly from your guru's speech. Your guru's mind is the Buddha. The only Buddha you know is your root guru. Your guru, of course, is the guru, the root of blessing. The yidam is communicated to you, taught to you by the guru. So the yidam is also the guru's speech. And the dakini and dhammapalas are the activity of the guru's mind. So ultimately, it's all included in the root guru. So here we use the image of the root guru, visualized as clearly as possible in the sky in front of us, in order to focus the mind on, at the very least, a good or virtuous object. Simply imagining the guru in the sky before you, generating that image as clearly as possible, is very, very helpful, because at the very least, it will cause your mind to stop engaging in negative thinking. For as long as that image is clearly present before you, since your mind can't really do two things at once, it won't be engaged in negative thinking. It just causes all of that to come to a stop. So the image of the root guru in the sky before you is itself a remedy, an alternative to our usual state of endless delusion. And that is one of the reasons why it's said that meditating on the pure form of the deity purifies the veils or obscurations of body. However, it's also said that meditating on the single form of the guru for even an instant is more effective than meditating on 100,000 different deities for 100 aeons. And that a single supplication of prayer to the guru for even a moment is more powerful than reciting any deity mantra for 100 aeons. And the reason for this is your personal connection to the guru. Now, we approach this practice, Lama said, with the attitude, I am connected to Terchen Barway Dorje. So therefore, I am imagining Terchen Barway Dorje as my guru. There is benefit, of course, in that thought, I am connected to this teacher. And that connection is beneficial. In fact, even a negative connection with such a teacher is beneficial. We can only, however, properly refer to anyone as our root guru when they have pointed out the nature of our mind as self-aware wisdom. So once you recognize the nature of your mind to be self-aware wisdom, the person who pointed that out to you becomes your root guru. Until that happens, strictly speaking, you don't actually have a root guru. You just have a connection.
So Terry, then the Lama say that Chimbola Zagori, Terry. Then that's on the Tori, Muginani, Lama Gomsar in Dungeon, the team Gomsar, so on the side. So Mikir Gori, Tamikir, Sama Jacob, Mikir Godu, Terry Mipetin. Jiho Chinitze, Dani Lama La, near some coronet and Tandu Zumi Mutra, so on the that really. Tanga so Lama Soran there go there. Sora Kares in there go, Gyamtso Kares there go. Natso Gabriel Chin, Robert Soran, the taking Mugorwa, Gabriel Chin, Mugorwa. Then again, also Seba comes from Koran, then in Dam, then the Yazek Tar Tabik Sigona, Lama the control Pingorwa, Tambonga, so get Tambo Mata. Tarto did Dani da can go in the Lama say Yemi to Satu, Sora Chandam, Sora Debsan Debzi, Yom, Chandro. They Charlie Kapsu, Choranzo, Nata Taro, Osa Adi, Mari, the Lama, the Drago Mari, Sotela, Sosola, the liberation, Kopa, Kotachu, Korangi, Ko Yongo. They pardon as a Lama, Sora, Nebo, they take the Jiho was there at the Tambo Jari, not so young jazz and Boba jazz. Ta dongyang dra de kare de ji de mo ba dra ji ho zo da ke san thong bo mo ko la ma chen na ka nga bo ma ro sing nga ni ro ji sin ro ji se bo ga ma la ko ba na ji chen chen ne ba da ni la ma la ni song ko ne ne tan du lu song to ni ta mo ko ya kare chi la chen chen nu sam ji da ni ro chen ba 산재는 진짜 용 산재가 용대로 왔다 진짜 늘섬서야 산재가 용대 콩은 침바 가려고 샘기 탐지가 주되라 간주리도 그 탐지 차상 껴르러 말라 터디가 봐나기 산재가 진토고 나서가 통토마도 나서 상계는 된 나서가 통토거리 산재 나서 기발이 치오 말이 나서는데 진짜 늘섬 그 레거리 애나 나서 젖살이 더 용고 다른 양의 접기를 봐도 파데 살이 탑지 다른 가서 좋기면도 사제 그때 나서 나 초당아니 제과리 초라서 들으기는 진짜 뉴스입니다니 초라서 샘데리 송고들 나도 용디 요바데 초라서도 요리 송고들 사제가 추서야 돼 대리마도 이 사제가 나서 대사 탑고 말이 사람 탑게도 김치 가래진 사제가 송으로 얘도 주다 탈배 탑니게 탈바라는라데 기발기서 티 탑이 거다 저런 느르지를 저런 느르 용전도 송 내하 고송 내 희송송 사제가 됐어 추서야 돼 사제가 추서야 돼 뭐다 담아서야 맞아 사제가 나서 인강 피토고 말이 대대 나서 그다 적고 대 진짜 뉴스입니다니 침박의 심지 탐지가 가래리로다 용 주탐지 하고 토고리 세와되게 심지 탐지고 세와라 할레바게 줌다 봐 계란소 나서 파마는 제와 버기를 제와 요바 대는 사서의 사제가 나서 제와 뒤제와 계란소의 생기라 다다다 쳐다 겸해차도 제와 요는 뭐 어리 다당 발란차도 뭐 어리 대를 제와 요는 뭐 대소는 게 제와 최고 유상고의 계란소게 오늘 제와 요 말이 좋기야데 요 말이 고란소게 교란 때 까대를 지게 가서 겸해를 있는 교란소 正총는 교란 공조당 저런 공부를 get out the door. 근데 다들 제와요. 산재 대말이다. 산재가 제와서야 돼. 콩그 제와서야 돼. 콩값이 같이 튀나요. 심지나 자와니 get out the 말이. 드르기가 제와요. 나서도 대 제와들라고. 진짜 누가도 가려 심진 리지가 누가요. 나서도 제와요는 양 누가미나 네 제마다나 배차야 초라는 제와 요리 말을 쳐 커는 거는 쳐 초라는 쳐 지시그 요 말이 자키그 말이 까라 예가 요 말이 이 초라는 제와 요리도 초라는 맞춰 리야 좁지그 누바요 산지의 대 말이 대 요리 제와 요리도 누바요 던주게 다니도 잡을라마 인 상네그 잡을라마 딘디기고 잡을라마 다니 라마라 니송 코르네네 탄두로 나 세바 감성 코르한 딘디 탈바가 로유스 딜로 나 추적고야 라마키는 무고야 자바 데이스 예당가 가야 먹고스 난 세바 감성 코르한데 삼자라가 나 추차야리 선스 난 데니 야탈고도 다나가 교로키 선 소라 된다도 줌이 무자고 소라데 주드 메바 베할 레바기 다다 차라서 메게나는 책도구나 메예다라 파 교로키 마전 부바나기 베 줌마타바 데케게 무자고 거니 라마는 소란데 보데 데라 데 조데 다 소란데 드르기 소란데 보데 마도 제게 대하자야 tablik diwar gena chi ri yong samne ke soran de jo marida te yong kya jani lo de soran de ngon don har bu don bu jon ha leba ke zoom me ba ke zoom ta ba ke son de movie deni yichi chora ga na kyop thokri san yichi di yichi te mo kyop zi ge nuba de chu de yo de si chi zi ne sam ji da ni da dang e lap sa ra ma so ria nga kyop ro chi nga yin kyap ta re sa kya sa mi 초랑 끼고마도 라마 끼고마도 겹다리에서 경선 미스 다 디게 소라데 다 세나는 랩 마용 버드 라마데니 일 샤테는 소라데.
Continuing to imagine the Guru in the sky before you, you then begin praying to the Guru. And the prayer begins with the call Kie Ho or Che Ho. And Che Ho is a way of calling to attention. So it's the idea of, I need you to hear me, I need you to pay attention to me. For example, Lama said it's like the way a child would call to their mother for help. And then in the first 3 lines, you say, Guru, embodiment of wisdom, love, and ability. I want to be freed from bad migrations and samsara. I pray to you with unbearably strong devotion. Well, first of all, why are we calling to the Guru? Why are we praying? What are we praying for? We're praying because we're suffering, because we need help, because we cannot manage on our own. So the attitude of prayer begins with the admission, I need your help. If you don't need help, you don't ask for help. So the attitude of prayer has to begin with the humility of admitting, I need your help. Specifically, I need your help to get out of bad migrations and samsara. So this also gives us an idea of how long we will need to continue to pray to the Guru. We will need to continue to pray to our Guru until we no longer need help, until we have forever freed ourselves or been freed from bad migrations, bad rebirths, and samsara. Now, in the first line, you identify what it is about the Guru that makes you call upon them. And what it is that they are the embodiment of wisdom, love, and ability. Now, we use these terms, wisdom, love, and ability, of course, in many different contexts. Here, they refer specifically to the defining attributes of a Buddha. When we summarize the qualities or attributes of a perfect Buddha, we normally enumerate them as these 3: omniscient wisdom, consummate love or kindness, and the ability to protect beings. And so we need to remember that when we use these terms, wisdom, love, and ability here, we are talking about degrees of these far beyond what we normally experience. For example, in the wisdom of a Buddha or the Guru, they see absolutely everything all at once as clearly and simultaneously as you could see something that was sitting in the palm of your hand. We may think we're wise, we may think we're clever, but we certainly don't see that. So the wisdom that we praise or acknowledge the Guru for having is that level of practical omniscience. what good does that do us? It enables the Guru to teach. For all of the miracles performed by the Buddha, and of course on this day we celebrate the Buddha's performance of miracles, the greatest of all was simply teaching. Buddha did not protect beings simply through displaying miracles. As the Buddha said himself, I can't wipe away your suffering with my hand. I can't remove your veils. What the Buddha did was teach us how to achieve liberation, teach us the means of liberation. That depends, first of all, on the wisdom which sees everything. Without seeing everything, you simply can't bring beings to liberation. And then we have love. We think that we are loving. We think, for example, that we feel love for animals. We look at a dog or a cat or some other animal, and we feel something. We feel affection. And we may brag about that. I love animals so much. I love dogs. I love cats. I love whatever it is. That's not love. That's not what we mean by love here. You love them because you find them cute and appealing and it makes you feel better, it relieves you from your suffering. It's completely selfish. It's even narcissistic. If it were love, then it would be unconditional. But it's not unconditional, is it? As soon as that cat you feel so much affection for 1 minute jumps on you and claws you, you say, get off me. The Buddha wouldn't say, get off me. But you say, get off me. Your love is, to translate what he said literally, it would be a bad word, so I won't use it. To say, your love can be found in a barnyard.
What?
Barnyard. It's excrement. The love of a Buddha is not like that because it's unconditional and it's not narcissistic or self-reflective. So don't think when you praise the Guru as loving that, oh, the Guru is, I know what love is. The Guru is just like me. The Guru is not just like you. If the Guru were just like you, then you're not going to get anything out of praying to him. And second, and the third is ability. The real ability to help others. Now, I said earlier that in order to really help beings, you need to achieve Buddhahood. That until you do that, you can't really help others. You can't help others get out of samsara until you are out of samsara and yet able to reach others. And those two criteria are only both fulfilled by the state of Buddhahood. If we think that we are helping others now, then we are like someone with, this is offensive, I know this is offensive, but he said it. We're like someone with no arms and no legs drowning, thinking they're going to save other people from drowning. Get over it. So, we pray to the Guru because the Guru has real wisdom, real love, and real ability. And because we want to be freed from bad migrations and from samsara. Now, it's important when we pray to keep in mind that this is not a sudden emergency. There is an attitude of desperation in our prayer, But we're not simply praying to the Guru because we're scared of some immediate danger. We can't simply pull out prayer as a remedy when we feel scared or we feel at risk or in peril. Because if we do that, then it's not sincere. There's no actual recognition of the cause of suffering. We need to recognize that what we are praying for is not the alleviation of transitory conditions or dangers, but the removal of the causes of suffering itself. Also, in praying to the Guru, we need to believe that the Guru has these attributes of wisdom, love, and ability. If we don't believe that, then we're not going to gain anything through our prayer. So.
Lama Topgyal Gyamtso yore, Nazo the Tepa Along Gori is or that did them read the Gori. Nazo the Tepa Along Sayat mean Along Sayat. Lama the Topgyal Chinzen Nusam Jitani and Topgyal Gyamtso the Hokkien Wuna. Choran Al Tepa Along mean Lama Taki. Then Nika the Gori, Choran Tepa Chimbor mean Lama the Zopasan you move at the Son of Kuna. Gaya Pin Tokuma. Pintokuma, Pejaga, Chona, Donangeri, then the Hokkien Katsi, Don Yoto, Padina, Totokama, Toyao. Then you got them there, lots of them there, some of them drained. Lama del teachings in Nusam Dani, you Sunny Zonde, Chora, the Tebata, Jaja Jaga, the Lamsanko Pin Totok. Then the Dangazo, Lama de Kananga, Chai for the Milarepa, so. Gigi of Malaya goes like a goddamn tree cups of com goddamn tree or conk, Malakinto boards or the got a Tambo Lutango Marit, Malaka long mambo in the Gomiam Nisi or the Taron Lutama, the Conga Chenta Resini Lapage long Pacorma, and the gate of Malaya, long dirt in the contract on its own. Dini tiki car Kakesan Kusam Malarsan one. Oh, ye, low mambo gondon nedasin. Tarongi rarely changing into Tantomado. Chengan, Regan, Rechers on the pile dinner. They call Jimmy Jasara, Kalayo Maromala, Zopo Pet, Joro, Jimmy Jasaro, then Jason. Then the Jasama Capso, then the Lamatin or Kong. Yara sound the Lamatin. Young. So then it called it Doamolaka, Dorikola, Yadoro, the Yokiamari, Jose Omari, Tamala. Then you conquer Sorataga. Float all over Gombati, Dr. Mabalo Tati, then the young Dami Mati, Churotam Tia Conquer, Milarepa, and Rido. Then the take up the take up the Milarepa. To over the Yoden, then you Dojia Molaka Chaten, nature to all of Gombana, Dojala Molaka Chatena, Netana Marbalo Zago, then you go son, then you conquer son of Odon Chimbo, then you dam Yada son of a young Damima, son of a young mother Damima, to Tata Yon Gawa, Tata Yon Jival, so then not Morat, Kenya, the Oyo Tata go Giba Dorje, Sonka Yori, and Wyoming, and Kenendo, Borami, and Kenendo, then not Tata, Joe, Monetan, Chudoti, Tata Yo Yuna, Niri Chunya, Gomni, Requite Kia, the Nindo, son of Conquer, Soratan, Lama Soratan. Then Marbados like Telejan, Chinson, Chin, the Marbados and Nankani. Single sum about the chin, the church on, but you carry in the book using other. Don't you check where you carry nature the Judeca Wanga Yonzo, Kitsa, Menga Yonzo, Tita, Tacho the Carri, so Kare te sama bokuya kimchi kare wazandini, tenere ro, teni, de kongi ya lama la kyo lama kama menga na, teni lama yang pa namka la tamsara, taka te kapso lama kena petsa wara. Teni jabza Milarepa ya drobo na son nyamni se, teni kong nyamni komparta, tele hlas nyamni kompar son ro. Ta titu kya ki nyamni se kore, nga so nyamni se li kapso, nga so nyama kya da chi kap dhocha tena do thuka mewa. Goma tse la kyo so lakana na de kingpo na gomja na do thuka mewa. Sankani je kore. Ngone je jo mare da, kukhen ya ho koro, ma tse le ka pomo ye la kukhen yo koro, pomo yo na kukhen yo koro, 다 들으게 그 상계야 요 말이다. 니르 데이스 독세미나 오늘 상계야 요 말이다. 들으게 그 니르 독세 요 거지. 상닝게 요 거지. 대파 다나오 거지. 되니 될때는 되니 상계 거로. 다 들으게 거리다. 내가랑게 그 주도자한테 그 라마 말아래바게 그 나랑게 라마도 베타 대파 쳔보로 되는데 사람 쳔보 요리 나라는 Milarepa gorte tuta Milarepa gorna dong kayu tengsa ta Milarepa gorje po do ten don do di kipo do te de don de do kayu ting ara kipo do ara ten yong ko san monam jang kayu de ni ma zo da de chu 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 ni to sa so mo de
The most common analogy for the relationship between the Guru's attributes of wisdom, compassion, and ability, and the receptivity of the disciple through the disciple's faith is a hook and a ring. It's said that the Guru's wisdom, compassion, and ability form something like a hook. But for that to take hold of us, we need faith that forms a complete ring. When someone lacks faith, then it's as though they're like a rock or a stone. A ring will not pick up a round stone. It will bounce off it or slip off it. Similarly, for us to receive the Guru's blessing, for us to actually benefit from praying to the Guru, the interdependence of the hook of the Guru's wisdom, love, and ability, and the ring of our own faith is necessary. One of the most touching episodes in the songs of Jetsun Milarepa is the episode toward the beginning of the book that's called the story of gathering kindling. And this records when Milarepa had been practicing in isolated retreat for several years. And one day he went outside of the cave he was living in then, wearing only his cotton robe, to gather wood so that he could light a fire. And the king of obstacles, Vinayaka, took the form of strong wind to frustrate Milarepa's efforts and to test him. And so the wind blew away first the sticks that Milarepa was trying to get, and then even his single cotton robe, which escaped him, and he was standing there in this freezing wind, stark naked and starving because he didn't have food, so he fainted. And when he awoke from that faint, he realized that even though he had been practicing for so long and with such intensity and austerity, he was still attached to things like gathering kindling and having a fire and having a cotton robe as clothing. So he prayed to his guru, Lord Marpa of Lodra, in a song that you can read. It's in the collected songs, and the song communicates an intensity, not only of devotion but of affection. Where he says, "I bet right now you're teaching Hevajra in Lodra, so profound among all tantras. I wish I were there to hear you teach it again. And I bet your consort, the Lady Daklema, is there beside you. I wish I could see her face again. And I bet that my Dharma brothers and sisters are there receiving your teachings and empowerment. And I wish I were among them and could see their faces again." And so he continued to pray to his guru until Lord Marpa, who had probably actually passed away by that point, appeared in the sky before him and said, "What? What's your problem? I gave you all the empowerments. I taught you all the instructions. Why are you calling me now?" And then he dissolved into space, and Milarepa achieved a realization that he had previously not yet achieved. That's the kind of faith, the kind of devotion that brings blessings, that can actually cause your guru, as Marpa did to Milarepa, to appear manifest in the sky before you, even though they have passed away. How can we hope to achieve Buddhahood when we can't sit still for even one evening, even 1 hour? We set up our place with an elaborate arrangement of cushions. We plant our tender bottoms on those cushions, but then we're not content. We need to get up and find another cushion because we need one under our right knee. Then we plant our tender bottom and our delicate right knee on those cushions, and still we are not content. We must get up again and find another cushion for our left knee. And then we plant a third time our tender bottom and our ever so delicate right knee and left knee on the ground. And we sit there, confident in our exertion and our devotion. How do you think that you're going to achieve Buddhahood if you are so mentally and physically delicate and fragile? And now we're out of time.
Thank you. Good luck. It's nice. Sona Yeshe Lezonwa Tamba Kanye Lowa Yo Sanyo Sene Ramboje Manye Bana Jijere Kiba Nyamba Meba Da Kone Kondu Pewara Yo Simji Tamji Tena Tenjere Je Ngido Tamji Tato Tombara Sanjo Samba Kanda Sarjo Deda Kanje Mola Yo Sanje Reje Zeze Dame Gajargan De Yadan Nema Saje Meza Jebe Sanga Je Sije Sonta Jabe Traji Sho. Thank you. Thank you. That's a slowly though. Kala 7.
Downstairs.
Downstairs.
There's food
Okay.
downstairs.